Hey guys, at the end of the summer, I upgraded my small balcony pond to a bigger one using a storage bin I got from Home Depot. Just because you don't have a yard doesn't mean you can't have a pond. I was able to put a small pond on my balcony patio using a container. So check out my other videos about my balcony pond if you want to see what it looks like before I upgraded. My previous planter pot was about 10 to 15 gallons, and the bin I'm using in this video is now 27 gallons or 102 liters, and it's about 35 by 20 by 15 inches in dimension. So I actually used two bins since it wasn't strong enough with just one bin. With the 27 gallons of water, the sides of the walls would bulge and I was worried it might break, so I doubled it up with the bins. Considering I got them for about $10, it's actually not that expensive. So with two bins, the size of the pond doesn't bulge out at all anymore, so it's much stronger versus having one. My older pond had an internal filter, but I didn't think it was that great. So this time around, I wanted to add better filtration by setting up a matten filter. And matten filters, for those who don't know, are very easy to set up since it's just a large piece of foam and a pump. So what happens is water flows through into an area separated by the foam, and then the pump cycles it back into the pond. I got the large sheet of aquarium foam from Amazon for about $15, and it's about 20 by 20 by 1.5 inches thick. And I cut it so that it would be snug up against the sides of the wall of the container. So for a pump, I just used my old bamboo pump. The pump not only serves a purpose by circulating water and driving the filter system, it also provides the sounds of water and the aesthetics. There are many options for filters, but at the end of the day, they all do the same thing by housing beneficial bacteria, circulating the water, and filtering debris to keep your water clear. Another really good alternative to the matten filter is a simple sponge filter. They're really inexpensive and easy to set up. An air pump is all that is needed to drive the sponge filter. In prepping the new pond, I added Seachem Prime Water conditioner. Another way to make water safe for fish is to let it sit overnight in a bucket so the chlorine can evaporate if you don't want to use water conditioner. When you first set up a new pond, it will have no beneficial bacteria to get rid of the ammonia that is present when the fish has waste. I seeded the new filter system by adding beneficial bacteria from Seachem called Stability. I also kept the filter from the old pond as well to help jumpstart the bacteria growth. Beneficial bacteria is very important for a pond since it's what helps converts the ammonia from fish waste. If you want to know more, do a search for aquarium nitrogen cycle. It'll help you better understand the chemistry of water. During the first month or so of the pond, it's very important to stock the pond light. Maybe 2 fish, then slowly add a couple more every other week. The reason why you'd want to do this is to have the beneficial bacteria build up to match the number of fish you have. If you rush the process and add too much fish at once, you'll see they'll be fine for a couple of weeks, but as they produce more waste, the ammonia will build up and eventually kill them. Feeding them too much will also accelerate the ammonia buildup. It's also very important to test the water regularly to see if there are any harmful amounts of ammonia. This is more critical when the pond is new. Without the beneficial bacteria to help convert the ammonia to something less toxic, it can be fatal for fish. There are test kits or test strips that can tell you if there is ammonia or nitrites in your water. It's a must-have for any serious fish keeper or anyone who don't want to kill their fish. This is probably the biggest mistake for new fish keepers. They don't know that the water has ammonia, and when their fish die, they don't know why. Remember, just like how air is super vital to humans, water is the same for fish. If you want to know more about the process, look up fish cycling. This new tank syndrome, as it's also called, is what causes early death of fish. So having less fish, feeding less, and changing water is very critical in a new pond setup. So in my pond, I have small minnows, rosy red minnows to be exact, and small comet goldfish. The minnows are actually great pond fish since they are small and don't grow too large. Now I only use live plants since they not only provide shelter and hiding places for fish, live plants also help filter some of the toxins in the water. The plants I have in my pond are anacris, water lettuce, as well as a water lily, and those all came from my old pond. The water lettuce will probably die during the winter when it gets cold, but the anacris and the water lilies actually will grow back in the springtime. Another great plant to have is duckweed, which is a great source of food for fishes to munch on. So the hardest thing about doing this upgrade was actually catching the fish, and I had to go really gentle and then just sneak up on them. The water was pretty murky and the minnows were really fast moving fish, so it's kind of hard to catch them. I decided to go with a bare bottom pond this time Previously, I had lots of pebbles and it was really hard to keep it clean since food debris and waste would get trapped in the substrate and stay there. With a bare bottom pond, it's much easier to see and suck up the waste. I don't think it's really necessary to have any type of substrate or gravel if it's just fish. I do, however, have clay plates, pots, and large rocks to act as shelters for the fish so they can feel safe. In terms of lighting the pond, I have this clip-on LED light from Walmart, and it runs off a timer to give the fish some light. Now my balcony is covered and it rarely gets any sun, so I have to provide a way for them to get some light too, not only for the fish but for the plants to grow. And I also have an underwater LED strip light to brighten up the bottom of the pond as well. And this light actually changes from red to green or blue depending on my mood, and you can change that with a remote. For monitoring the pond, I also have an Android smartphone set up to stream the video feed over the network so that I can watch the fish remotely anywhere as long as I have network access. So check out my other video about turning an Android smartphone into a security cam if you're interested in doing something similar. Like any aquarium, there's always water changes. If you stock the pond light with fewer fish, you will change the water less frequently. And typically I change the water once a week and maybe 20% of the water at a time. I usually test the water a couple of times a month to see if there's any high levels of ammonia or nitrates. I feed the fish about 2 to 3 times a week, and I don't feed them a lot. Don't be tempted to feed more. A light feeding schedule of even twice a week should be fine. Maybe half a wafer for all the fish to share, or a couple of small pellets of food for each fish. Keep in mind that there are detritus worms, various bugs, and plants that is in the pond so that they have other sources of food, so feeding them a bit of food to supplement them is only needed. Overfeeding your fish can cause the water to be dirty, so don't be tempted to feed them too much. A little is better than a lot. Remember, more food equals more waste, which means more ammonia, which will kill the fish. During the winter months, when it's really cold, I don't even feed them at all, and they came out okay. Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope that this video gives you some ideas in terms of putting a pond in your own balcony. I'm going to play out this video by showing you the pond in action. I'll also put a longer video as well as some updates for this pond. So if you're interested, check out my other channel. Anyways, comment, like, share, or subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.